thank you for being our source of guidance today and always. In your name we pray. Amen.
Face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
may be seated. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and call up the public comments. Ms.
The first item is presentations. We have a presentation on departmental reports. We have the municipal court, Department of Utilities, Fire Department, Police Department, and the Finance Department. Everybody's here ready, available, if sure you have any questions.
So one of my questions right now is just so the public can, or the employees and the public can know. On the insurance, we did have some registrations on Friday, and we're registering the employees. That's just the procedure.
Yes,
Until
Commissioner May.
if we select a company that did the procedure, they'll stay, and if not, whoever we decide in the next meeting will be the insurance, right?
Correct.
Which is Thursday.
It'll be Thursday, we'll
Am I
have the
right?
meeting.
Yeah.
We did open enrollment under the TML. If there's a new provider that is selected on Thursday, then we'll do another open enrollment for the new provider.
My question, Mr. Arjona, would be for Mr. Salinas, David Salinas. I was looking at the water loss, sir, on the report. It's over 400,000 gallons of water loss.
Yes, sir, that's a total of all the water breaks. Remember, we have a couple of month, one of them was here off of Sam Houston that we had, and then don't recall where the other one's at, but that's how we account now. For any time we have a water break, we account for those water losses, so we have to turn it into the state as part of the water loss.
Is that the norm? What would be the
It-
norm?
The norm, we hope is less than 15% on account for water. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of what we call AC, or asbestos concrete pipe, and when it rains like this and it gets dry, the clay soils around here expand and contract, and that's why we have a lot of water breaks, and that's what's been happening lately. We've had a period of rain, and then we've had a period of really dry months, so the soils have been expanding and contracting. So we're going to see, unfortunately, a lot of more of those water breaks happening here in the near future. We just had some rain this weekend that was pretty substantial, and then we had rain today, and we anticipate having rain again tomorrow. So we'll try to address it as soon as possible. The sooner we can get to it, the quicker we can isolate it, the less water loss.
How do we make adjustments as far as the cost of this?
As far as the cost on the loss of the revenue,
Right.
we usually do that once a year. We do those adjustments.
And at the end? of
Right,
the-
when
of
we
the
do
fiscal
our, when we try to balance as far as our monies goes,
year? Uh-huh.
we do that, so that we can account for whatever was loss of revenues and whatever we actually have as revenues.
So this would have already been done before the budget is approved, or?
Ms. Salinas, is that, was that brought up before, or is that something that we kind of like forecasted?
Sorry, this thing's not working. The losses are already anticipated in a rate.
Right.
Anticipate that. The rate structure accommodates for that percentage that we have reported in the past.
And again, these 400,000, is it monthly for the month, or is it up to date for the year? That's for the month.
This month, if I remember correctly, it was only like 33,000 gallons, and there were a couple of months throughout the year there was only like a couple of thousand gallons. It all depends. Right now, unfortunately, we're coming into the wet season of the year, and that's going to happen. We've been dry. I apologize for this. For the summer, that as the soil gets wet, it expands and contracts, and unfortunately, that AC pipe is not as flexible as the PVC pipe, and it's been in the ground for quite a while, so it will crack and break.
I just want to make sure, I mean, because that's a lot of water loss. And I want to make sure that our residents know that, I mean, somebody has to pay for it, so where is it coming from?
Ben, and does that have any, I've gotten a lot of calls this month, especially on high water bills.
We had a few high water bills. I know that some of them we had to replace the water meters because they were reading either too slow or they were reading too fast. But we had to replace some of them. And actually, once we do that, we find that there's an issue with the water meter, we tend to make adjustments on the water consumption. Because not only it's only water, but it's also sewer. So those are the ones that we really kind of like adjust so that it doesn't reflect as far as the sewer charges, but only the water charges.
Also, I got another one, and they sent me a picture, I was looking at a bill. Service charge compared to, I guess, there's a service charge that we charged, had an amount which was more than their water bill alone. So they had questions on that, kind of, they sent me, explain to me a little bit about what the service charge is. What do we charge? Is it a standardized that we charge every?
There's a certain fee that we go up to 1,000, where's Mr. Leroy? 1,000 gallons of consumption, there's a certain fee. And then anything over that, it's a different rate. And I'm not really sure what the rate is. Do you know that, Mr. Leroy? It's already set up on a table that is calculated automatically. But the first 1,000 is the one that is a regular fee, the normal. And then anything over that, it's a different charge.
So it's formulated as in,
Yes.
depending on the usage of
Right.
water.
The service fee is for the water and the sewer? It's just to have an account open. I was asked, because apparently, and I'm not sure how, I don't look at the bill, my wife does, but that even the brush and the garbage rate increases with the amount of gallons used, and I don't understand if it
No,
would,
that's,
no?
the only one is the sewer and
Only
the
the
water.
sewer, because
That's the one that is
the
together.
water's going back
But
into
the
the
brush
system.
and the trash pickup is
That's
totally
it.
separate, yes.
That's it, that doesn't
Right.
change. Okay.
Mr. Salinas, when was the last time these meters have been checked?
The meters actually fall under the meter department, sir, and they pretty much check them regularly. In fact, they were testing some meters today that they pulled out of the ground and checked. Unfortunately, the meters have to be pulled out to be tested. In standard practices, when they pull them out, if it falls within the 3% loss, anything greater than 3% in inaccuracy gets pulled. So the meters are, by all means, 97% accurate. Even when they come from the factory, they're only like 99.9% accurate, and every meter has a limit. The standard 3/4 inch meter that goes into most residential houses has a minimum limit of 1/4 of a gallon per minute. Anything lower than that, they're not going to register. The maximum limit is 25 gallons per minute for each meter. So anything above that is going to give you an accurate reading. So, but accuracy I can safely tell you, accuracy in our meters is about 97%.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Mine's for Ms. Enriquez. Ms. Enriquez, I'm looking at collections, I guess, from last year to this year. I think you guys are over $120,000 more collected this year than last year. Well, first of all, great job. But what's the reason? Is it the scofflaw that's bringing in that much more, or what else is that y'all are getting more money or collecting more money? Scofflaws, it's helping that much? Any complaints on it? Still?
Of course.
Yeah, again, there's the other tool that we'll talk about later also is on that we had brought up before, Ben, is the Omni, which we're doing the scofflaw, which is the renewal of vehicle registration. They won't let you if you owe it, which is good, it's working. Great tool. The Omni is, they don't let you renew your driver's license if you owe as well. And those are government entities that we can use and maybe implement later. I mean, we can even double this, so, but again, Mr. Enriquez, for your staff and your department, good job.
Mr. Cervantes, do we have any city ordinance on those vans that sell the corn or las palateras que andan in the streets? And the reason why I'm asking is because I have had complaints from residents that it's been o'clock and those corn vans are around, or it's 10 o'clock and those paleteras are running around. And if you know, I think so, if I'm right, one paletero got killed on the north side of San Juan not too long ago, and it was late in crossing the street. So that's why I'm asking.
We don't have an ordinance in regards to that. We could contact the police department if that's something that you want to stop. then we will need to coordinate with the police department and have the officers like stop them and,
Well, we need to do something because 10 o'clock is kind of late, to be out there, especially in the colonias, trying to sell coin. And I know that they're trying to do a living, but, it's also a distraction from the families.
or if
It
you,
also creates a hazard for kids running to the street because they hear la paletera out there,
or if you prefer, can work with, on an ordinance to regulate them, where they
Yeah.
will have to come in and get a permit. Right
I would-
now, technically speaking, it's not allowed. I mean, they're out there, of course, right? And we enjoy the goods. But if you wanna allow them with restrictions, we could work on an ordinance.
Because if they're out there with no permits, no restrictions, I don't think so we're getting any benefit of taxes or anything out there, and it's just becoming a hazard, because, if people are complaining that they're out there at 10 o'clock or, and like I tell you, there's already been an accident on one of them, and
Yeah, I mean, if that's what the city commission wants, we could work on an ordinance to put regulations for them, where they will have to come in and get permits and
yeah, hopefully you could put something together, and hopefully the
And,
commission can look at it and see what they
maybe
decide.
submit insurance, have insurance requirements, time limitations, that they will have to register with the state. There's a lot of stuff we could do. Register with the state controller.
On that same line, I think we also need to look at these different companies that are going door to door. You got your electricity companies, you got some cable companies. I feel that they need to come to the city and register and see who's gonna be out there. Because I've heard a complaint before where, I think it was an electric company, went to one of the residents' house, knocked on the door, and the resident asked for an ID. Well, guess what? They didn't have an ID. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that we really need to regulate on that and see who's out there, trying to sell their product. Not only that, in the same token, charge, we gotta get,
But that's why I put a gate in my house.
yeah, so, I mean, in the future, just, if you can maybe start looking into that,
Well, maybe in the same ordinance, we could
Yeah,
address.
no, exactly,
We can
exactly.
address that as well.
and it's something that needs to be done right away, so.
I think I have something in the books that I can ask them, and then I can work with Ms. Palacios
Sure, yes,
to
yeah.
have something that
I
will
appreciate
fit our
if you can
needs.
do that.
You see, the more people, with the more about those, is like, for me, happens that I got my light shut up, and I pay my bill with CP&L. So unfortunately, Green Mountain, somebody had signed me up, and he sent me a bill with the name of somebody, it was another name, and I see this doesn't belong, wrong mail, so I just sent it back. So unfortunately, that person lived in Alamo and put my name and my address, and they changed so if we can get some information, or if we know who's out there doing this, at least, we got some, what I mean is that they work on a commission that they'll do anything, so.
A lot of them go to my house selling, alarm systems or what, and they're from another city, I mean, yeah, they're working, they're doing their job, but, yeah, we can kind of regulate.
Yeah, we can start on it pretty soon, on an ordinance regarding that stuff.
The police department, that building is already completed, or what are we delaying on? What are we waiting on the new police department?
It's completed, they're doing the last inspections on it, doing the punch list, I think.
Right.
And we're also, we're getting all our furniture in, so Chief is looking maybe mid-October as to the opening.
Yes, and just along the same lines, what we wanted to do was invite you all, public, as to maybe by mid-October, as we speak, it's about 95-97% completed, as the captain mentioned, that it's in the process of the punch list of walkthrough. Maybe we can have like ribbon cutting, grand opening, that we can be there, showcase the police department. It's a beautiful building that would like for you guys to see it, and also the public, make it available. So maybe within the next couple of weeks, if we can schedule something, whether it's during the week or maybe in a weekend.
I talked to some businesses today, that's my job, and they're real happy that we're having a police department to the south side. They feel more secure. And hopefully our residents will feel also that,
Right.
I have a question for Captain. Regarding your report, as far as overtime pay, I know there's 3 grants listed, but no overtime pay. Is that because we don't have any funds in those grants?
It's because the grants have already finished and they were closed.
Oh, okay.
We're already getting started with new grants for the same year.
Okay.
We got the Stone Garden, the Border Star, and we also got the traffic step waves. So we got the same grants, but they already finished by the end of the year, so we're just waiting to start the new ones.
All right, thank you. Going back to Mr. David Salinas, on projects, I don't see the project as far as the water plant.
Just received the updated.
April of next year? And what's the delay?
According to the contractor, there have been issues with some of its subs. We're currently legal letters that were on site to finish the work, and we're at the point they need to start doing the startup. So we're fixing to send them a letter. Whatever issues they have, contract is with them, and the contract spec is supposed to start. I apologize.
No. Just,
But
just continue talking.
okay.
Yeah,
So that's where the that's the contract.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not,
Next item, we're looking at public hearing ordinances. Consider the second and final reading of an ordinance adopting the tax rate levy for the city of San Juan, Texas for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2017 and ending September 30th, 2018. Same as the last one, there's no change. It'll stay at .6993.
I'm going to go ahead and open this up for the public at 6:30 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Anyone here? I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the commission. Anybody have questions regards this issue? If not, I'm going to go ahead and close it at 6:30 PM. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item is consider the second and final reading of ordinance adopting the proposed text, I'm sorry, that's not the one. Hold the second and final public hearing, consider the ordinance adopting the budget for the city of San Juan, Texas for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2017 to September 30, 2018, as we discussed it on the budget workshop and the last revision.
I'm going to go ahead and open this up to the public at 6:31 PM. 6:31 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Anyone here? If not, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the commission. Anyone have any questions?
Mr. Ben, we balanced the budget,
Yes, sir.
and we increased our employees to $10 an hour,
$10 an hour, yes.
and we do have a 3% raise for them,
That is correct.
which will take effect October, the new fiscal year.
That is correct, right?
We are taking into consideration the insurance, correct?
Yes.
It's not gonna,
Right. We're taking into consideration that insurance, the monies that were left over, the surplus.
okay.
Any other questions? If not, I'm going to go ahead and close this at 6:32 PM. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item is conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance in the first reading for an amendment to Appendix A, Unified Development Code, Chapter 2, Article 4, Section 11 of the San Juan Code of Ordinances to allow car wash facilities in the Expressway Corridor District. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. Juan Economic Development Corporation has requested an amendment to the Expressway Corridor Zoning District that was approved a few months ago. It was established in June 2017 to allow car wash facilities within the corridor. The adoption of this ordinance amendment will allow car wash facilities to be constructed within this zoning district with a conditional use permit. During the regular meeting of September 7th, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the amendment to the ordinance. And the ordinance is in your packet. Like I mentioned in the previous meeting, we have a proposed blue wave car wash along the expressway. So this ordinance is needed to be able to work with the developer on that project.
I'm going to go ahead and open this up for the public at 6:33 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? Can you state your name for the record, sir?
Rick Ramirez.
Thank you.
I'd be against this proposition for the construction of the Blue Wave car wash for the following reasons. On February 14, Bagley and Associates presented their corridor study, which was adopted unanimously. Some of the comments from the commissioners was that the plan is, for trying to eliminate is, we only have two accesses to the expressway, only one overpass that limited the land area, and want to make sure we don't have any kind of businesses that are metal type businesses. We want to give something to the corridor that enhances the car dealerships. That was followed back from Bagley, again promoting the car dealerships and making the point of the car dealerships. That was followed up again for Commissioner and Bagley. On May 23rd, under an agenda item for the commissioners' meeting, there's a public hearing for creating the expressway corridor on the first reading. During that meeting, the mayor asked the question to the director if other cities have a similar ordinance. The director answered, no. In the valley, upstate they do. In the valley, we are the first ones. Someone asked, does McAllen? The director said, no, not anything like the expressway corridor zoning. Another commissioner asked, we need to make sure we improve that area, make sure we allow something nice in that area, referring to specific restrictions to the businesses or zoning that would take place. That meeting was passed unanimously. On June 13, the second reading took place, where it was a consent agenda. That meeting vote was unanimously. On August 14, EDC sent a letter to Planning Director addressing that the board revisit the issue, which compromises the allowance to change the ordinance in the commission's meeting. In that letter, he said, we currently working with two different developers interested in developing property along Interstate 2, and both have a project component that is apparently conflicting with the zoning overlay zone for the expressway. Both are fully automated and enclosed car wash. During the meetings prior to the ordinance being finalized, this one item generated a lot of questions, to which the director for EDC mentioned that the business with an approximate 1.4 million taxable at Valerian to the city would be an additional generating sales tax and creating jobs. On a planning and zoning meeting, Mr. Cervantes reminded the commissioners that they held a workshop together with EDC where the board came to a consensus that no car wash facilities would be allowed in the expressway corridor. This was mentioned, and Mr. Cuellar said the amendment of the ordinance is crucial for both projects. He added that if the amendment is not approved, the city will lose those businesses. To that reminder comes the point that this commission allowed this corridor to be built. They knew the risk of alienating other businesses that would come back to our meetings and propose changes to our ordinance. I was raised up to say what I mean and mean what I say. And I hope this commission takes that into mind when they voted. I just read the previous meetings and board meetings where all board meetings and commissioners voted unanimously for this corridor. Now we have a proposed car wash where this commission is proposing to amend that ordinance that you unanimously passed. So like I said, say what you mean and mean what you say. If you voted unanimously, you would reject this proposed change to the amendment. Thank you.
Anyone else for or against? Can you state your name for the record, sir?
My name is Edward Rodriguez,
Thank
Mayor,
you.
Commissioners,
Thank you, sir.
and I'm just here for concern. When we passed that corridor, we paid a lot of money to a lady from Dallas to do this study. We went through several long process of having workshops and studies done. And we approved what is to be done at the corridor there. And my question is are we gonna do amendments anytime somebody comes and wants a change? By doing that, we're not gonna stick back to what we really wanted to be done there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, City Commission, Mario Reyna with Melvin Hunt for the record. I represent Blue Wave Car Wash, who's requesting this ordinance amendment. I'm sure all of you have seen the new Blue Waves that come to the valley. These are high-end establishments. They do provide 4 to 5 full-time employees. They're on the tax rolls for $2.5 to $3 million each. They do bring in tax revenues. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. This happens to be the catalyst for this particular development. Blue Waves looking to bring in Chick-fil-A as a neighbor, so happy to answer any questions that you might have.
From Westlaco to Mission, but we, Blue Wave on the expressway.
We have one off of Sherry Road, but that's not off the expressway. It's just a little bit, about a mile north. We have one off of Ridge Road in Jackson.
But you do not have none on the,
No, sir. We have one adjacent to the expressway in Harlingen, and one in Westco as well.
you know, our two exits there is what we showcase. It's like showcasing your front of your yard, of your house, you know. So what you put in front of your house would be selected, and you're kind of, you think about it before you put anything in front of your house. That's the way I feel about San Juan. We only got a half a mile to showcase San Juan, and we got to be careful what we put. That's my opinion.
And I agree with you. But I think the high-end establishment, they're modern. They meet and exceed all landscape requirements. They're maintained well. And like I said, this is the catalyst for this development. The Texas National Subdivision, which was approved at the last board meeting, would not be here today if it wasn't for the Blue Wave.
Have you tried to put Allen or Mission in front of, in the expressway? I know you put one in Jackson, and it's beautiful, and, you know, I applaud you for what you do, and it's great, but, you know, it's like I tell you, we're looking at our front that we have, our little space that we have. We don't even have those many access that McAllen has, and still they won't consider yet put a Blue Wave on their expressway, you know.
I think Blue would like to be off the expressway in these markets, but the land availability is not there. So they've looked at San Juan as an area that they'd like to target and they'd like to make their home. And I think it'll do very well, and I think it would complement that development well. And this is a master plan development. I know Oscar, I don't know if he's shared this with the commission, but Blue Wave is going to bring in the roads and the utilities. Then the bank is looking to sell a parcel to McDonald's, a parcel to Chick-fil-A. So there's a lot that's kind of piggybacking on the Blue Wave happening. So I think it's great for the city, and I think it's an amenity that's good, it's well kept.
Your recommendation, Mr. Cervantes and Mr. Cuellar, is to amend. Yes?
You were part of that agreement on that we had, Mr. Cervantes?
Yes, I was a project, Expressway Corridor District.
Do you agree with me that for us to amend that, then when other people come to amend, it's going to be hard for us to say no?
You make a valid point, but in my opinion, this is a project that will be good for the city of San Juan. It's property taxes, it's sales taxes, it's jobs, and that's why I recommend approval.
Have any ordinances ever been amended by the commission before?
Yeah, but they get amended all the time.
So it's a norm.
Yeah, the ordinance is gonna be evaluated from time to time. We didn't think it will happen this quickly because it was approved a few months ago, but we have an opportunity to get this development that, in my opinion, is a quality development that we will lose if this ordinance is not amended.
Well, the question is, in San Juan, how many car washes do we have?
Well,
How
we
many
have-
car washes do we have?
We have a few of the older type of car washes. We don't have any of this type.
If we don't agree to bring Blue Wave, does that put a halt on Chick-fil-A coming in?
Apparently, yes, from what I hear from the consultants.
You know, we,
Oscar, one of you want to fill it?
Because I like Chick-fil-A.
I could speak to that a little bit. They share the same broker out of Dallas, David Hardesty. So everywhere that he goes, he takes a Chick-fil-A with him, or at least that's the plan. So they've agreed to look into this area once they close on the parcel, Blue Wave.
While you're getting a car wash, you can go in and get a chicken
Correct.
sandwich next door.
And they complement each other well. You see in Wesco, they're doing well. On Nolana, they're doing extremely well. In Brownsville, I think they're going to do extremely well. And they have that in different parts of the state, and I think they complement each other well.
So there's a Blue Wave right in Mexico?
Yes, sir. There's a Blue
Right
Wave and a
next to that
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Same concept in Torres and Brownsville, the same on Olana Avenue right there on 27th and a half. So it's a tested and proven kind of, they complement each other well. Chick-fil-A has these extremely long lines sometimes, so people can go next door, wash their car. And I think when this ordinance was made, it was more targeting the self-serve car wash, and it just kind of did a blanket ordinance on this. But I don't think it was targeting car washes, similar to Blue Wave, in my opinion.
We don't have a look, Mr. Cervantes?
We have a
The
conditional,
look, the-
we have a.
How's it gonna look off the expressway here in San
Correct.
Juan?
We have a conditional use permit that'll come to the next meeting, and this board will be able to approve the facade, you know, where things are located and how they fit. So everything is controlled by the conditional use permit. So just because you're amending this ordinance doesn't mean that you're gonna approve the conditional use permit if you don't like the way things lay out. So that's another thing to consider. You'll still have control over exactly how things lay out and the flow of things. I will bring elevations. They have a new prototype. It's really nice. It's similar to the one on Jackson Road. Have you seen that one? It's nice. Everything's LED, modern, steel. They're not cheap facilities. They're worth about $3 to $3.5 million on average.
Yes, if the ordinance is approved, in your next meeting, you will have the conditional use permit specifically for the project. In your package, you're gonna have the site plan, you're gonna have the list of conditions, so you could add conditions if you want to. That's the beauty of a conditional use permit, you can put requirements on the development before approving.
Mr. Cervantes, they put a Chick-fil-A on Jackson, and they already had one in McAllen right side by side. They had land there to put a wave, and they didn't put a wave next to the Chick-fil-A.
This is a special situation, from what I hear, where there, Mr. Cuellar, do you want to address the connection between Chick-fil-A and Blue Wave?
First of all, I'd like to answer a couple of questions for the record. Oscar Cuellar with the EDC. The ordinance that was passed to create the zone does not prohibit car washes. It doesn't have any prohibitions on it. It just has a list of allowed uses. And we did discuss car washes at the time. We had a joint meeting between the EDC and the planning and zoning, but we had no projects in the pipe working on it. So we said, well, we'll address it later if it comes up. Because I think towards the end, somebody said, what about this? I said, oh, yeah, we haven't thought about it. So we kept adding to the list of allowed uses. It's not a prohibited use. It's just not listed as an allowed use. It's a slight technicality, but just so you know, we don't have a list of what's allowed and what's not allowed. We just have a list of what's allowed. And there's possible that something else, and like the commissioner was saying, would come in and say, oh, we never thought about it at the time, so it's not on the list. And you'd have to discuss it on a one-by-one basis. I think the list has close to 80 or 90 uses that are allowed in the zone based on the joint meeting where we came up with a list of everything we thought was going to be a possibility. In the particular case, there are different franchise people. They are dealing with different brokers, so not every deal is the same, okay? It all depends on the franchise person for the Blue Wave and the franchise person for the Chick-fil-A. Sometimes it's the same franchise person, sometimes it's not. So they're all a little bit different. They did look at a couple of other parcels, as the gentleman mentioned. In some of the other cities, they don't have the size on the expressway. They're broken up or shattered. They have small lots or very big lots. Here, because Texas State Bank, or excuse me, Texas National Bank is in the process of doing the plat, they were able to get in line with them and say, if we want to put a Blue Wave car wash here, we need a lot this size. And so they're working around that because it's still not done. If the plat was already done and the lot didn't meet the dimensions that they need, it probably would not be a good site for them. And like I said, when we had the meeting, I think the last meeting we had, we added 2 or 3 things to the approved uses because we hadn't thought about them, because we don't have anything in the ordinance that prohibits anything. And then to address the question about ordinances, ordinances are made by the commission, but they change all the time. Every time you do a change of zone, that's a change of the ordinance. Do you have any questions?
Yes. When we hired the lady from Dallas, I was in the EDC board, and I was a board member of the EDC. And our plan was, and we gave her a direction to put up some plan that would be similar to what like Trenton has or what Ware Road had, so we could have that vision where we could put good businesses that would be out there and we could showcase San Juan. That was the plan that we had, and it was to eliminate any kind of buildings with aluminum or stuff like that.
Yes.
That was the original plan.
Yes, and like they were saying, the proposed change is to make it a CUP to allow you to make conditions like on the facade, you don't want sheet metal, you want brick, you want block. In other words, it's not an allowed use, it's a conditional use. They'll have to come to you and say, this is what we're proposing, and you negotiate and say, well, we don't like this, this, or that. If you change it, we'll consider it. It's not just an automatically allowed use, it's a conditional use permit if you can negotiate what you want for it to look like you want it to, and the developer's in agreement or not.
I'm going to follow up on what, if I may, on what Mr. Garcia just asked. And I know it was mentioned by Mr. Ramirez. We wanted to complement the dealerships, right? Lexus is coming in. Do they know that these two businesses want to come in, and how do they feel about it?
They're really concerned with it. They're more concerned with there's other dealerships coming in to compete with them. They're looking for places for their customers to go to eat or to get their vehicle serviced, for example, car washes or oil change, something like that. They're looking for something that's going to complement them, okay? But preferably it's something that's not going to compete with them. Okay? But they are aware of it. No, because we did talk to them because we are the ones putting in the infrastructure intersection because of the Lexus, and that's what caused Texas National Bank to pull the trigger and say, instead of waiting 2 or 3 more years, we want to do it now.
You know, we had that open because we didn't have those utilities. And you know perfectly well that once we have utilities, there will be other businesses that will be attracted to that plan.
Well, true, Commissioner, and again, and I'll go to what you, nobody wants a car wash in San Juan, one. Okay, and that's not what the people are asking for, it's not what we're asking for. Now, it's a Blue Wave, okay, well, it's a new, innovative, new car wash. It's revenue for the city, taxes, that's what I want, okay? But yes, if it's gonna happen, we want it to look good. Now, yes, you said we have the opportunity to decide where we want to go in that route. Now, I think what people want in San Juan is a Chick-fil-A. Now, if we can get the Chick-fil-A to come in here as well, my thing is I don't want to go, we do a car wash, Chick-fil-A doesn't come in, and we're stuck there with a car wash off the expressway. Now, yes, we're making money, I want that, okay? We need businesses here. I want it to look good, state-of-the-art off the expressway. I would love Chick-fil-A to come in. If we can give that, now some kind of package deal or something, I mean, same broker, it makes it a little bit easier to make that decision. But, but I'm with you, Commissioner, and as in the look, I want it, if it's gonna be a state-of-the-art showcase, Blue Wave, one of a kind. Now, if Chick-fil-A comes in, or they wanna come in also, because you guys are a joint partnership and all that, I mean, you know what, I'm in.
I think so that Chick-fil-A makes the decision if they want the business. We got the Basilica there that brings 75,000 people every weekend. That's potential business for them, and Chick-fil-A as a business needs to decide if they want to come in. I'm not going to be held hostage because a Blue Wave wants to come in, and we're going to say because Blue Wave comes as Chick-fil-A. We got the attraction for San Juan, and I think so it's going to just build better. And if Chick-fil-A wants to come in, I open them with open arms. If they decide not to come in because they're done on a Blue Wave, then that's their business, decision that they gotta make. I gotta make the decision that it's gonna affect San Juan in the next 30 years. We have not changed 083, the assumption, and we have not changed the ordinance to better beautify the San Juan area on 83. The opportunity that we have is on Expressway 83 to showcase our city, and we have to make that decision that we already paid for a study, and we need to stay where we ordered or where we planned. That's my decision, my feelings about it.
Sure, Commissioner, and that's great. The only thing is, what I don't want is that, okay, so we decide not to and so forth, but we lose another 20 years with an open vacant lot. We haven't done anything with it. There's an opportunity.
Well,
Now, I'm not saying we're gonna jump on it.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity. What I don't want is, yes, I want the same idea you want. We talked to, I want those plazas in Trenton. I want those, but it hasn't happened. It's been a vacant lot there for years.
Now we're gonna have the utilities running there. One example is that I worked for 30 years as a salesman and account manager. I lose accounts today, and I open 3 or 4 tomorrow. So the opportunity will build, and the opportunity will be there because of the utilities that we're putting there.
Now, if we amend this, pretty much we're opening up the door for anyone else who wants to come in, right? As far as when it-
Similar, Blue Wave, similar type of car wash,
Okay.
yes.
Now, my question to legal is there any way, if we do look at this, amending it, can we do it case by case? Or if we amend this, does it just open the door for whoever wants to build a car wash down the corridor?
It opens the door, but like, it's under a conditional use permit, so you still have some sort of regulations. But either way, any other car wash will be open to it.
To come in and,
If it's
If it's feasible for them to do so.
As
we
a
kind
matter
show
of fact,
everyone
we
that.
have another car wash coming in the same, it's not gonna be the only one, this one. We already have 2. There's 2, right?
there is another one that is proposed in another part of the expressway that is also needs this ordinance amendment for it to happen.
And
But
we
from
already
what
have
I
the-
hear, it's similar to Blue Wave.
Similar. And we have already HEB there, so we're gonna showcase 3 car washes on our expressway in half a mile.
Like, one more thing, Saul Ortega from Texas National Bank is also my client. And I actually approached him with this idea, and his approach was, I'm not gonna do a bank there for another 4 or 5 years. It's like, I bought the land because it was a good opportunity. But now with this coming in, with us running all the concrete roads, the sewer, the water's being run by the city, now he's expediting the process of building his new bank. So I missed one today, 3 tomorrow, but there's a lot more kind of tied into this deal. And some reassurance, the Blue Wave owner's buying 3.5 acres. So he's spending a couple $1 million betting that Chick-fil-A is gonna go there. So if they don't, he's in trouble. So he's going to entice them to go there. They go hand in hand. Any time that he's bought excess land, they've gone there. So it's the same broker, and it's worked out well.
Oh, I understand what you're saying, but I think as a business person yourself, that's your opportunity with the bank. And, that's one of your customers. You either take care of him, or you don't. I take care of my customers. And sometimes they tell me that I can't do this, and not because I can not do something, I leave my other customers alone, or I don't deal with them. I address them.
But all I'm saying is
Yeah.
they're expediting their plans to build that branch there due to this. So if this doesn't go through, it might get put on the back burner again. And 4 or 5 years from now, yes, you'll get a bank there, but it wasn't in his immediate plans. So it was me that took him the idea and said, Blue Wave, Chick-fil-A, they're looking for somewhere in between FAR and Weslaco. I think this is a good fit. And there is other property on the expressway. They could go Alamo or wherever else is available, but I like the area, and I do a lot of business in the area for the school district and whatnot, so I think it'll be used. It'll be successful, and it'll help spur the development of this corridor. And I think everything else that's going in there is not contested. McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, a brand new bank, And we're also, another thing to note is that we're set off in the corner 5 acres. So the bank is keeping 2.5 acres for McDonald's and the bank. Chick-fil-A is keeping 2 acres. So we're set off on the less desirable area. So that's another thing to notice.
Cervantes, I'm a visual guy. I would like to see how now you said it's on the next meeting, we can come in, now if we were to approve this amendment though, are we still able to put a halt to it if we don't like how it looks or?
Yes, if you approve this amendment, not in the next meeting, the following meeting, you will have the conditional use permit going before you for the Blue Wave. In your packet, you're gonna have a site plan. We could put some pictures in there, and then you can place additional conditions. You're also gonna have a list of conditions from the Planning and Zoning Commission, but you could always add conditions, or if you don't like the picture, you want bricks, you could add as many conditions as you want to give them the permit. And then they will have to abide by those conditions.
Did you have to say, sir? You can come to the podium. State your name for the record, please.
Buenas tardes, habla Miguel Basurto. Quiero disculparme de entrada porque mi inglés le entiendo perfecto, pero para hablarlo puedo hablar en español, no sé si hay problema.
Está bien, está bien.
Ok, discúlpeme a alguien porque sé que estoy en Estados Unidos, pero mi inglés es malo. Yo represento un grupo de inversionistas que está desarrollando el otro lavado de autos, que no es Blue Wave. La diferencia con Blue Wave básicamente es que es un lavado local, con el mismo tipo de infraestructura y de inversión, pero es una compañía local nueva que se va a empezar a desarrollar. Y la idea es ponerla justamente sobre la calle de Wisconsin. Es un terreno en forma de L, que lo vamos a ver un poquito en el punto B más adelante del siguiente tema, pero está considerado y es mi duda del corredor, que hablan de un corredor de media milla no sé si sea del expressway hacia abajo, entonces también afectaría la cuestión de que están comentando de que piensan que no da imagen, o lo que yo entendí, que no da la imagen que se requiere. Y es un proyecto similar, es un terreno de 5.3 acres actualmente y se va a subdividir, se está proponiendo subdividir en 5 fracciones, en la cual también entra un restaurante similar al Chicken Filet, pero es un restaurante también local de mucha presencia en la zona. Yo tengo un contrato de confidencialidad, no puedo decir el nombre del restaurante, pero pues vende tacos 24 horas al día. Y creo que todos sabemos que es el restaurante que está interesado en entrar. Entonces es la misma exposición básicamente, únicamente que nosotros no estamos en el expressway, estamos en la de Wisconsin buscando pues la cuestión del desarrollo, pero sí nos afecta la restricción de medio acre, aparentemente, ¿no? Entonces, no sé, cualquier duda, yo aquí estoy y…
Usted es el otro car wash que estábamos diciendo que iba a también poner.
Así es. Ahí sí puedo decirle el nombre del car wash porque no tengo confidencialidad, se llama Rio Speed Wash, algo así.
No, yo conozco,
yo soy el inversionista nada más, no soy el operador.
Yo conozco los restaurantes que está hablando. Al contrario, creo que le vendemos a uno de ellos. Pero es como le digo, tenemos que ver qué es la visión de nosotros. Y tener cuidado qué es lo que vamos a hacer, ¿verdad? Porque aprobamos uno, tenemos que aprobar el otro.
Claro, sí.
Y si mañana yo quiero poner un car wash, al rato vamos a tener 4 o 5 car wash en el expressway. Y también son buenas ideas, pero también vamos a cerrar los otros car washes también. Ganamos uno y perdemos otros.
Nosotros no estamos pidiendo el expressway, el car wash es ponerlo sobre la calle de Wisconsin, pero sí estoy a menos de media milla del expressway. Es el predio que se ubica, ¿no?, entre el museo y el Pizza Hut. Exactamente, donde venían los trailers.
En esa situación, usted no está dando cara al expressway.
No.
Y tenemos que ver cada uno individualmente y cómo va a afectar la visión del expressway.
Claro, bueno, yo aquí estoy,
Sí.
cualquier cosa que yo pueda servirles. Sí es importante para nosotros la decisión de la inversión, porque es una inversión grande, similar al otro. La inversión es la misma, nada más el nombre cambia, el servicio es el mismo. Y también va complementado con un restaurante que genera muchos empleos.
Tu inversionista es de la… ¿no?
Sí, bueno, realmente es Sinaloa.
Pero están en Laredo.
Sí, en Laredo tienen mucha presencia. San Antonio, Houston.
Sí. Public comments, Mayor?
I'm gonna go ahead and
Well, just
you-
to address you guys again, and I know Commissioner Garcia is my thing is, Blue Wave, I mean, I want Blue Wave to help us help them. If they wanted to come down here, I want Chick-fil-A here. I don't know how that works. I mean, it's one of those now, he's gonna need Chick-fil-A to come once he builds, or he's gonna lose all of us. That's, but it was a package deal, or we know, or we're for sure, because my kids like Chick-fil-A. I think everybody likes Chick-fil-A. It's one that, we can't get a Whataburger, let's get a Chick-fil-A. That's the closest I've ever heard, though, so far of Chick-fil-A coming to San Juan is with the Blue Wave deal. I'm not crazy about a car wash off our expressway. But what I do like is the revenue that the city of San Juan will make. But got a couple of seconds, I guess, to decide this, huh?
No, well,
You have to close also the open hearing.
no, it's still in discussion
Yeah,
within the
before
commission. And my opinion on this is that, these Blue Waves, they're not your typical just buildings. I've seen the facilities, they're nice. But the issue that I have is, I mean, we open this up, we amend this, and, having more car washes down the corridor, you know what I'm saying, is something that, I don't know if I'm too thrilled about, because anybody can just come in. But I do like the idea that Blue Wave with the Chick-fil-A, like Commissioner Maldonado was talking about. But my opinion, I personally think we should maybe table this item for the simple reason that have legal really research this and see whether if we do amend it just for that specific area and not nothing down the road. You see, we don't know that, and the only way we can do this is if she goes or her firm goes and research it. So my recommendation is, let's table this item, give legal time to research it, and see whether, if we amend it, do we open it up for everyone else who wants to build a car wash down the corridor? Or is it okay that we just amend the ordinance just for that specific area?
Well, Mayor, if you amend it for that specific area, you already have another car wash coming for another area in the expressway.
But
Or
that still
not-
hasn't, we still haven't,
So that means if you
we-
amend this one for this one, you're gonna do that other one. Let's vote on it, and if this can come back again to the commission for amendment again. You
no,
table it.
but I would still want legal to look into it.
Yeah, legal can look into it,
Yeah,
but let's just take a vote.
that's all I'm saying, and then we bring it back.
And we bring it back if,
That's all I'm saying,
if we get more information on it.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. So at this time, I'm gonna go, anybody else have any other questions from the commission? I'm gonna go ahead and close it at 7:05.
I'd like to make a motion, Mayor,
Go
to deny the approval of the amendment. That's a motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and table this item. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye? It pass? No.
It's 2-2.
2-2? Okay, so it dies.
I would like to make a motion to approve the amendment to the ordinance. This one's a tough one, but we've always heard that we're not growing, we're not bringing anything in, and I think whether we amend it or not, we're gonna get criticized. So my motion is to amend the ordinance as presented by Planning and Zoning.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye?
All those opposed?
Aye. Dice.
Dice? No action.
I'd like to make another motion to deny the request and can be come back again in another meeting. That's an motion.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, well, how is this gonna work?
We'll go back to the mayor's motion to table.
Yeah, I make a motion to table this item.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
We had to try, we had to try.
So it's tabled for the next one.
I'll visit with Ms. Palacios and try to figure something out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
At the next meeting, I'll bring some renderings and some more information.
I'm more of a visual. I need to
Exactly.
see it. If
No
it looks
problem.
great,
I'll bring a couple boards.
Probably want samples of Chick-fil-A also.
también.
And
But again, thank you for being here. Thank you for all, those are decisions that we have mixed feelings on, we want you to come, but we don't want you to come.
I understand 100%.
And
And
we
also,
need to utilize our ground, for the best possible,
I think table's a favorable motion is better than a deny, so I'm happy I got at least got a table. And all purchase contracts, so you can see what what the guy's buying. He can't get a letter of intent from Chick-fil-A until it's actually purchased. So I'll bring the purchase agreement. You can see he's buying 3.5 acres. And maybe I'll give everyone some comfort level that Chick-fil-A is coming next door. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your.
Next item, Mayor, Commissioners, consider resolution nominating the candidates for the Hidalgo County Appraisal District.
No, we skipped one.
Did I skip
The
one?
appointments.
Oh, I'm sorry, appointments. I'm trying to get out of here.
I know you want to get out of here. Me too.
Appointments, consider appointments of the board of members to the Keep San Juan Beautiful Board. At the last meeting, there were, out of the 3 members, we selected 2. We were hoping, and we printed this out with the hope that we would have somebody that would come in. I don't know if anybody got a request, but as of today, this afternoon, we didn't get one. So I don't know if you guys.
I had somebody contact me that they tried to submit it, weren't sure if they did, if it went through or not. But I would like to make a motion to appoint Rodora Tonel Elizondo to the Keep San Juan Beautiful Board.
What's the name?
Rodora Tonel Elizondo. I hope I'm saying it right. But yeah,
That's in a motion, sir?
that's an emotion,
Okay.
yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Aye. So it passed?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Consider resolution nominating the candidates for the Hidalgo County Appraisal District Board of Directors 2018, 2019. This is where the City of San Juan will be designating city council nominees for the Hidalgo County Appraisal District. It can be more than one. It'll be at your, if you'd like to nominate 1, 3, 5, or up to 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Last year we received names, no? Or-
Well, this is this is just to nominate. It's
Oh, just to
nominate,
make
we'll bring them back
nominations.
to vote.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
Names on there. That's
Well, on this one, I'll nominate Pete Garcia for the Hidalgo County Appraisal District Board of the Directors for this year.
Is there any other nominations? If not, is there a motion to approve for Pete Garcia?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item is consider preliminary and final plat approval of the St. Michael subdivision being a 5.36 tract of land out of lot 27 and 32, block 8, Klossner subdivision located at 200 East Expressway 83 as requested by South Texas Infrastructure Group. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, the first proposing to subdivide 5.36 acres of the old Homes of America property that we discussed a little while ago into 6 commercial lots. He's proposing a public street through the middle of this property with a connection to the Virgen de San Juan Boulevard and a connection to the Expressway 83 frontage road. The developer is requesting a variance from having to construct a street 40 feet in width as required by the adopted infrastructure standards for collector streets. The developer is proposing to construct a street 32 feet in width, similar to a residential street. During their meeting of September 21st, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended preliminary and final plat approval of the subdivision, subject to a list of requirements and partially granting the variance request to be 36 feet in width. So it's right in the middle of the code and what they're requesting.
Cervantes, this developer is doing that so you can do a car wash too there, right? Or no?
One of the, yes, like he just said a few minutes ago, one of the developments proposed in one of the lots is one of those blue wave similar type of car wash.
So if we are the street that he wants, there's no guarantee on the car wash at this point.
Well, right now it's subdivision
Yeah.
because they need the they have other businesses in line coming in. So right now, at this point, is all we're requesting is approval of the subdivision.
Of the subdivision.
Nothing with the car wash. It's just a subdivision.
And, you know, if he makes it the development there, make sure that we get those pictures of that car wash he wants to put there. So we won't have that discussion that we had right now, and we could have a picture of what he's talking about. I don't have a problem putting the street, but I want him to, yo sé que quiere la calle, pero quiero estar seguro que no estamos aprobando el car wash que está allí. En el futuro, si se hace, pues tiene que venir aquí a la mesa a decidir, ¿verdad? So,
No, in this one, it's just a subdivision with the
Subdivision.
proposed public street connecting Virgen de San Juan with Frontage Road.
yeah.
With the compromise to make the street 36 feet in width.
Is there a motion to,
So moved?
is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Next item is consider amendment to interlocal cooperation agreement for the tax assessment and collection with the Office of the Texas Assessor Collector, County of Hidalgo. Mr. Gonzalez.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening, sir.
The Hidalgo County Office of the Tax Assessor has started their fiscal year requesting a 4% increase in their totals for collections. The current fees for property tax collection is $38,592. They're wanting an increase of about $1,920 per year. And their contract was, the original contract was approved by the City Commission on April 11, 2006. So,
Any questions?
So this increase is on the appraisal district, or that's the tax collector?
tax collector.
So this report is on what company?
Excuse me?
Which law firm?
No, this is for the tax
County,
office.
the Hidalgo County, right?
Hidalgo County Tax Office.
Okay.
Good, good, good.
Have a choice?
It was on the, if I may, it was on the contract that it was approved prior to this one, that there may be a
Subsequent
4 up to
years.
5% increase on that year. So it was approved that way. So honestly, we.
Yeah, but
don't
we're
have a
here
choice.
to
Have no
approve
choice.
the
No.
4% increase, no? The 4% fee? Is that what we're here to approve?
Yes, sir.
Right, but that's what we go, but we have no choice,
No
right?
choice,
That we
right.
have to pay them
That is
to
correct.
collect it.
Yes, sir.
So, motion to approve.
So move.
Hold on. Okay, so it's been motion approves. It's been second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item is consider authorizing the city manager to enter into lease purchase agreement with the Hallmark of Texas REV, a state contract vendor under the HDAC buy-board program for a 2016 one Typhoon 78 aerial in the amount of $468. Mr. Chief.
Mayor, Commissioners.
Good evening, sir.
This unit was brought 2 weeks ago. E1 came proposing a demo truck, a 2016 78-foot aerial. We had it parked out here in the back, requesting authorization for the city manager to go into a lease purchase. It'll be a lease for 10 years, and the first payment won't be till the next fiscal year. We'll work it in.
Chief, you said this was a demo truck?
Correct, yes, sir.
You had mentioned a while back, I think we spoke in reference to, was this the truck we purchased right off the line, or you were looking?
That was the replacement.
Got you, okay.
This is the same manufacturer truck. They're giving us a multi-purpose vehicle discount because if this goes through, it'll be 2 vehicles that we purchased from them.
Okay.
It's the same chassis and everything, except this is a 78-foot. We're increasing it from 75 to 78.
Got you.
78
All right.
foot.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion approved?
So moved?
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Slow down, boys. I said slow down.
Consider authorizing city manager to enter into interlocal mutual aid cooperation agreement between the city of San Juan and Hidalgo County. This is the mutual aid agreement that we have on a yearly basis with Precinct 2. So if in case they will need to borrow some equipment from them or they.
Scenery, whatever?
Whatever, it's already here. It's a mutual aid agreement.
Is there a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item on the consent agenda is the monthly collection report for August 31st, 2017.
So move.
Second.
Hold on. Is there anything that needs to be amended or anything on these? No?
Consent item.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion, meeting's adjourned at 7:18 PM.